It's no accident that sounds like you're leveling up in a video game. 48% of 18 to 29-year-olds have an online dating profile.
Make them work for it.
45% of people say they're more frustrated with this form of dating than hopeful.
There are so many people you can connect with.
Should I swipe right?
Swipe wrong. Swipe wrong. Setting the record straight on dating apps. Everyday people telling everyday stories of the swipe right world with your host, Koss.
Well, I know he had a good time.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. You know the drill by now. You totally know the drill by now. We're here whenever you need us to be here. With it's fall asleep to us, wake up to us, your commute in, your commute back, whatever you need, we are here for you. Welcome to the show. I am that guy. I am that guy. I am Koss. I am your host. Welcome to the Swipe Wrong Podcast, the number one podcast amongst people who ask ChatGPT how to use ChatGPT. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome week. And this week, I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. The show, we had quite a few people who wanted to pop on this week, so we got a few done. So there'll be quite a few episodes that'll just be one after another. Well, as they always are. It's probably a good time to have that swipe wrong party you all were thinking about having. Get people over, have your popcorn, get it buttered, stuff like that. Maybe start from episode 2. Episode 1. I thought would be a good way to kind of share what was going on. Like, hey, I'm going to tell a little story. We had somebody who shared her story, but she didn't want to come on the show. And I'm like, all right, I'll just read it and maybe we'll go from there. We didn't end up doing that too often, but I just wanted everyone to kind of get an idea of what they could expect with the show. And then from 2 on, I mean, it was just like it's been story after story after story. One thing that I have definitely learned is there is no shortage of material when it comes to this show. Just when I think I've heard almost all of it, like, all right, you're not going to surprise me, I run into a young lady like I did today, the girl that I just talked to not too long ago. So like, follow, subscribe, make sure you tell your friends about us, have your swipe wrong party, get your popcorn, and enjoy it. So, the thing that we keep finding really is it's not necessarily like the stories, the amount of stories that there are, like the amount of just bad dates you have to go through to get to like, hey, this might be the one. It seems like the numbers are worse now than they were a year ago. It seems like there is fewer and fewer good dates. And I think some of that has to do with just maybe not taking enough time to vet the person, or I think the phone call is the big thing. Like if you FaceTime, then you kind of get a better vibe than if you don't. Just my take. So anyway, I'm over talking. I do that often. I'm trying to be a better listener when I'm not on the show. But when I'm on the show, I got to do all the talking, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So here we go. First of all, mad love to Jay. He makes it all sound beautiful. So I always like, I can't, like there is no this without him. So that's why I will always give that dude the maddest of mad love. Sit back, relax, put your feet up, grab your popcorn, get it buttered for you if you want to. Pass it around because you're having that party. You're going to. If you're in traffic, please, whatever you do, don't hit that person next to you. And enjoy this week's episode. I really think you're going to like it. It is FTM, otherwise known as Fat Thumbs Mike.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions or any entities they represent. This podcast is about dating experiences. It is not to say one dating app is better or worse than another.
What I guess the thing that I always try to do on this is I want everybody's story. I want everybody's journey. And like, people go from, marriage to divorce to dating to, and then when you go through all that, you're kind of going through like identity crises. Like I knew what I was like as a unit. Now, what the fuck am I like by myself? And then you kind of discover all these new things. So like, tell me your path. What was yours kind of like?
Well, I was married very young and I got pregnant young. So I was married 25 years, and he was like, even though we were the same age, he was like my dad.
Oh, that's
in a
cool.
way.
I get it. Yeah.
Not really, but I was like
Well,
a
sorry.
child. Yeah. And I grew up like kind of with him. And once I got older and once it was 25 years, it didn't work.
Okay.
So being married 25 years, when you try to date after that, say in your 40s and 50s, you think it's still like high school.
Yeah.
So I was so naive. I really truly believed that I was going to go out and find a boyfriend and it was going to be just like it was when we were in high school, and I was wrong.
What was that awakening like?
Oh, it led to the book, Plenty of Fuck Ups. I'll show you it. That's my book.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. Mm-hmm.
So when did so as you're starting to date, you're like, I need to write this shit down, right? I guess so you're like, so let me just put this book out there. When did that happen?
Well, my girlfriend and I, because the stories were, she was my editor and she has like 2 stories. And we met at the gym. She's from Jersey City. I lived in North Bergen. So we moved upstate. We didn't know each other. So we immediately clicked. And every day I'd come into the gym with a new story and she would cry. She'd be like, there's nobody. I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. You have no idea I was attracting the most craziest people, and not in a bad way, but in a crazy way.
Right.
I wasn't afraid of stalkers. I didn't have that. I never had a stalker. I had just had where they wanted to immediately have sex, and it didn't matter. My house was falling apart. The heat wasn't on. The pipes burst. They didn't give a crap. They wanted to come in. No. Mm-hmm. They were going to sit in ice. Mm-hmm.
So I got it was, hey, how you doing? Hung out, so you'd meet for a date and then it would just be pretty quick meet, or would it be almost almost setting up to try to come over and just have sex as opposed to even going out on a date?
Well, we'd go out on a date, and again, I'm not like these women now. They're so damn paranoid. They won't give their phone number. You can block, Yeah. And I have an older son living with me, so I wasn't scared. And I'm strong. I'm like, I'll kick them in the balls. I'm not afraid. Right. I wasn't afraid, and I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't. You go on dating sites now, the women are so paranoid, and I just felt it wasn't going to happen to me, and it didn't. But I would have my first date. The guy, of course, didn't look like his picture.
Of course.
And then you're not supposed to go far. And he takes me an hour and a half away. I thought the restaurant was close. And then he goes on the way home. He stops at a gas station. And now I'm getting nervous because it's off an exit. And I'm like, uh-oh. But, and he goes, do you mind if I stop at a gas station? I go, no. So he goes in. He comes out with dark chocolate. And I'm like, okay. So we go back to my house. And I go, I want to go in. He goes, do you mind if I come in? I'm like, it's freezing. The pipes are busted. It was winter. All my pipes had frozen and busted.
Oh, that sucks.
And my house, I'm upstate. And it was just a nightmare. So he comes in and he goes, I got this really cool thing. And I'm like, what? So he takes a piece of dark chocolate in his mouth and comes and shoves it in my mouth. And I just pushed him away. I went, ah! And he goes, do you want me to leave? And I said, yeah, you got to go. And so he leaves, but he came back in 5 minutes later and grabs his dark chocolate bar because he left. And
what the fuck is that? I'm not aware of how that works.
I don't know either. That was my first date.
That was your first date too. Jesus. Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. On Plenty of Fuck Ups.
There's so much romance in that. I mean, just let me shove this chocolate down your throat. I don't know if that's an innuendo for something else he was trying to get to, but that usually isn't how it works, bro.
No. No game
Oh
whatsoever.
my gosh. So he picked you up. He took you to dinner. So it
Yeah.
was an hour drive to get to dinner.
Hour and a half, and he wanted to do salsa. So we were we were at this salsa place, and we're the oldest people in there. They're all young Hispanic. I'm like this older. I'm dying. I am dying. I'm like, no. I said, take me home. Let's go home.
Oh
Yeah.
man. So on the way home, the hour and a half drive back to your house, it's I don't need gas, but I need some dark chocolate. Let's get that.
Yes.
And the whole time, can you see how this is working? Like the whole time, like after he's like probably fidgeting because he's excited. Oh, I can't wait to shove this down her mouth. I'd be like, what, bro? Come on.
Yeah.
There's better ways.
Yeah.
So
There's better ways.
What date puts you over the edge? You're like, okay, I'm doing the book.
Oh, all of them. I have a great one. This guy, we call him Fat Thumbs Mike. He was my second one. I mean, these things really happen. Like, I'm not even embellishing.
No, I believe it. I believe the stuff I've heard. I believe it for sure.
Yeah. So he kept writing. I'm looking at. So he'd write FTM, and his name was Nick or something. So he'd write FTM after every text. I'm like, what is that? And he didn't say anything. So he came, he took me to eat, and he does cabinets. And my house is falling apart. I need cabinets. I'm thinking, I go, oh, wow, maybe I could get cabinets. And he goes, you couldn't afford them. And
what?
I know. So he's eating, and he's like, this is really good. It's a pizza place with crappy shrimp. And like at the end, his shirt was a collage of food. It looked like a painting.
His shirt was? He had it all over him?
Yeah. So I'm still thinking cabinets. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then he's texting after about his brother who he takes care of. And he's like, I don't know. So he keeps doing FTM. So it's finally hitting me. Like he keeps writing FTM, and I go, what is FTM finally? And he texts to me, fat thumbs means that when I go down on a woman, I have fat thumbs I can insert into her ass.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
He's so proud of it. Date. That is your second date. I mean, after your second date, you're like, man, I should have, maybe my ex is doing okay. Maybe I just it's almost like scaring you back to a tough relationship.
No.
Okay, all right.
It didn't fit not to my ex, but it was, I would after all these dates, that's when we wrote them down because we couldn't believe that this was happening out there. And I think, for women out there my age, the ageless 50 plus, when you go on a date, wear something like we were joking, dress like a nun.
Maybe. But some are into it. Like it doesn't matter. Like you could literally you'll get this reference. You could literally dress like Laura Ingalls. And it'd be like, oh, that's my kink, you know? I'd be like, yeah. And be like, hey, I tell you what, let's go milk a cow. And you'd be like, Jesus, I know. It doesn't matter. It's like once you hit that certain all right, the ageless 50 plus, as we talk, I think a lot of people, and you're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Is a lot of people think that the whole physical part dies down and doesn't scale up, but I swear it feels like it's almost heightened by men at that because of the magic pill, because of what they have missed out on, and it's like let me just get there before I die almost.
I know. I thought it would be like high school, but it was worse. These men were worse. One guy I was talking to on the computer, his name was Sean, and I'm like, oh, that's good. My son's name's Sean. Coincidence, sounding good. And then he's like, I'm a teacher. Oh, my parents were teachers. And I'm thinking, oh, this is great. And then we're talking, and he's like, when you go out, wear red nail polish on your toes. And he was getting all excited. And I just said, you know what? I don't like red nail polish. And then when I didn't talk to him after that, he was like, what happened? I thought we were, great together.
I thought we were, yeah. Oh, yeah. The name of your son and like teachers and parents
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, oh, there's the universe was telling us, but you don't, the red nail polish. Jeez. Like, look, I mean, shooting your shot, right? Here's the shooting your shot. A totally big fan of it. But like, it seems like it's happening pretty early. Like when your first 2 dates
Right.
from the gates, like from the jump, like
from
not
the
even,
jump.
not even did you have a nice time? It's like, hey, there's this whole red nail polish I'd like you to put on your toes. And you're thinking, that's not because you want to look at him, I'm sure, bro.
Right. Are you going to
Yeah.
see my toes on the first date? Am I going to wear sandals on the like, what?
Yeah. He was hoping for
Yeah.
flavored nail polish or something.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Good Lord. That was day 2. That was 2?
That was, well, he never got to a date.
Oh,
That
yeah, he
was
never
not-
got to. I'm sorry. Yeah, he never. Oh, my God, girl.
And then
Jesus.
this is my favorite one. The guy shows up. He doesn't look like his picture. He throws a license at me and goes, I'm an airline pilot.
Oh,
and
my God.
Oh. I go, okay. You know, because he had told me he sings in a choir. So on Broadway. So I'm like, okay, so I'm an ex-chef, so I picked the place. I told him what to order, you know, and then he's ordering me. I love martinis, raspberry martini after martini, hoping to get me drunk. It's not happening. And then he's a Broadway singer or something. I don't know what. And then, so on the way out, my son is in China, and he goes, pretend that Paul is your son and sing Doe a Deer. So I'm standing on a sidewalk singing Doe a Deer to a pole. I'm not kidding. I was going Doe a Deer. So he could hear if I was a soprano or alto.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So then I said to him, so what am I? What is my voice? He goes, I don't know. You didn't have enough breath.
Yeah, so romantic. Like sing to a pole. You know, someone's walking by going, this girl might be clinical. I don't know what to do here. Yeah.
That pole is your son in China. Sing Doe a Deer. I want to hear the timbre of your voice. I'm going, Doe a Deer.
I'd have been like, look, I don't like, bro, I sing on Broadway too. I stand on Broadway Street and I will just sing whatever's in my headphones. That's me singing on Broadway. I don't care about, the soprano. Sure. I've watched the show. That's about all I know.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been good. And then he's like, oh, because I didn't have heat. The house was a big issue when I was dating. Now I will not tell anybody about my house. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah,
so he's like, I'll get you wood. You can't get wood upstate. You have to call somebody, order a cord. You know, it takes a few days, a week.
Sure.
You can't just buy wood out of the blue. So I don't know what he was promising.
He's trying to solve all your issues. And teach you to sing, I guess, or work on your breath. I don't know. Maybe that was the whole point. Like, I know how to work on your breath. We'll get back and we'll just work on your like,
yes.
That's the breath exercises are through sex somehow, I'm sure. Good.
Somehow.
So how many guys or how many different fuckers are in your book?
Let's see, date 12, oh my God, date 24.
Look at you.
Yeah, I think 24. And then
24? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a real learning experience of what not to do, because after that I dated somebody for many, many years, but I'm back to the dating.
Doesn't that suck?
Yeah, and like I just went out on a date with a guy, and he took me out to eat. And he's like, I don't know, he doesn't live far. And he's like, I'll take you to Gallagher's if you want. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. So then he wants to take me out tonight, and I'm like, if you want to go anywhere, you have to make reservations around here. Even though it's upstate, they're really nice places. Around here, even not a nice place, you kind of need a reservation on Saturday night.
Sure.
He was like, just come by my house. And I go, I can't drive at night. I don't want to drive at night. I'll meet you halfway because you can stay. I have 3 bedrooms. So I just met him. I'm not. So we're doing the same.
Yeah. So do you feel, all right, do you like from, let's just say even date 5 back when you were, after divorced to now, do you feel like you're doing anything differently?
Yes, I
Okay.
don't put up. The old me might have went hopeful, naively, and said, "Oh, I'll go to his house. Let's go out to eat," but not slept over and put myself out to dry there. I mean, women were much sharper than me with that because I was so hopeful and naive.
Yeah.
You can't take that away. I really was.
Naive. All right. I understand what you're saying. Hopeful. I'll give you hopeful because you're like, all right, you're excited about somebody. You're excited about, hey, you know what? We're clicking, we're vibing, we're gonna have a good time. Sure. I'll go to his house. And
I'm not good. Yeah.
Now I'm like back then your 5th date as opposed to you're coming back around to being single, which it's I saw a meme the other day and it said single people who get into relationships and then are single again just have to do it again just with less energy than they had before. Like it feels like you're just like, oh my God, here we go again. And now you're kind of a little bit exhausted, and I totally get that.
Or I would be afraid to say, let's make reservations because then he might not like me. I'm like, let's make reservations or we'll not. You may as well know now.
Right. Well, that's good. Like you've got your voice and your boundaries kind of intact too. Like it feels a little bit different, I bet, right?
Yes. And then I have to tell you about this date. He was an Irish drunk. So I would like everyone to learn, don't text too much, because what happens is you text. We were building a text relationship. I really didn't know I was in. You have to meet. So he was going to come. He was a builder and fix my house, and we were going to have a relationship, and we were talking together, and he came all the way from Connecticut. So when he came from Connecticut, he had a lot of money and he was drinking a lot. Like he was drinking beer in the morning and beer and beer. I said, don't drink that much. You can't drink around here. A state trooper is going to get you. So sure enough, he's in a car and he's got a can of Bud beer, he called it. And my beer, are you getting on me about my beer? And I'm like, yeah. And he didn't have his seatbelt on. Sure enough, whoop, 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 pulled right over. He got a ticket. God. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I come to find out his mother calls and his kids are calling. Dad, where are you? Where are you? And he didn't tell them he was coming to New York State. And his mother goes, Matt had it all, but he lost it. And I'm like, well, he lost it. She goes, yeah, he started drinking and he hit somebody. And now he's up for something, but he killed her. So he came to my house to hide out.
Oh my God. This was the same day, like it happened earlier or recently?
We had one date. He went back to Connecticut. Then he came back and he was drunk. I go, don't come back drunk. He's like, woo, drinking. I thought he was going to get a job, help me fix my house. Remember, women, nobody's going to help you do a thing. Do it yourself.
Yeah.
But I was really in a bad situation. So with the house. So he came all the way back with no money. I'm buying him beer at this point. And he's like, the first time he took me out, he's buying all this. And then he needed a cell phone. So this was in the same day. So we're in a place, he's getting a cell phone. There's a Spanish girl behind the counter. He's winking at her. I'm thinking, what a rude.
My gosh.
And then that's when the mother was calling. The kids were calling, Dad, where are you? They had no idea where he was. And, he had it all. And he goes, something like he had a DUI and it was the girl's dead. He's probably in jail now.
Oh my God. That's crazy. That's the crazy, there's so much crazy to that. Not just the fact that All right. So he hits a girl. He comes to kind of hide out with you or get out of town with you, either
Right.
way. Then
And
he
get
takes,
back at his wife, who
yeah.
he hated because she broke up with him and divorced him, and that was his started drinking. But I guarantee he was drinking during the marriage.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That just doesn't happen just for the sake of happening. But then he's hanging out with you, who you're kind of
Mhm.
helping him. And then he starts winking at the whoever's working the counter, I guess,
Yeah.
or whatever
Yes.
to get the phones.
Winking.
Yeah, like which actually is there anything creepier than winking anymore, by the way? That was like so like that was I think that went out with like I don't know, diners in the 50s. Like
I
Jesus.
know. And I felt so insecure. Now I wouldn't have. First of all, I'm not taking anyone to get a cell phone. They can get their own.
Yeah.
But yeah. But if somebody starts winking at somebody else, I'll just turn around and walk, you know.
Or if they start winking at you, like you're like, that's your move? Like that's your move,
Yeah.
bro? Come on, that's you're winking? Come on,
Mhm.
jeez. Like, what do you start blowing kisses next? What the hell?
Yeah.
Jeez. Like, all right,
Yeah.
maybe he'll give you duck face. Who knows? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And I had guys come here running game. Like one guy goes, he's like, yeah, I get these cars, and you could put them here, and I'll give you money. Like I don't know what car.
What the hell? Oh my God. Wait a second. So all this was before your relationship, right?
Yeah.
So is it already entering your mind like you're gonna have a sequel to your book now that you're single again?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Oh, you're taking notes already, aren't you? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh
Hmm. Yeah.
gosh. No, but it's
Yeah.
real. Like, so you have that one that we had somebody on probably about a year ago now. It was Plenty of Guppies was the one that she wrote, and she did kind of the same thing. She probably
Plenty.
had a yeah, instead of Plenty of Fish, she did Plenty of Guppies. So, but
Yeah.
same premise,
Plenty. Got a plenty of fuck ups.
yeah, plenty of fuck ups, plenty of guppies, plenty of whatever. And I think she had maybe about 25 to 30 guys that she talked through too. And it's kind of funny. She started off on Ashley Madison because she wasn't out of
Oh
her
wow.
marriage yet. Yeah, which it's funny because that documentary just dropped on Netflix. And I was like, oh.
Hmm.
So like her reason made sense to it. A lot of the other reasons why other people were doing it, not necessarily. She's like, I just felt like the right thing to do. The marriage was over, but I wasn't out of a marriage, so I felt like I should do Ashley Madison instead of something else. I'm like, all right, I get
Hmm.
that. That makes sense. So, oh my goodness. So like, all right, all these fuck ups. Is there at least a couple of good dates in there?
No.
No. Holy shit. No. Really?
No.
Oh, how much faith do you
I'm
have in the dating world then?
well, I'm doing it again, but I'm doing it on
Yeah.
Facebook dating.
Yeah.
I just started. The one guy doesn't text at all. We went out to eat once, and now suddenly I'm supposed to sleep over his house 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't really know you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's the Netflix and chill mode. Let's
Yeah.
have some sex is what he's obviously like
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was not a fan of Facebook dating for a couple of reasons. Like when it first came out, one is it cares zero about your parameters on distance. Like if you put 50
Yes.
miles, it's going
Yes.
to send you 5 states over. It's going to be like,
Hmm.
hey, do you know this person in Italy? Just so you know. um but one person brought up a good point, and that is at least with Facebook, if you want to research hard enough, you can find that these people are actually real. You can find their profiles and stuff. And I don't have that kind of time, but that was the one thing I'm like, all right, that makes a little bit of
Oh.
sense.
Uh-huh.
If you want to go about it that way, as opposed to talking
Yeah.
to a bot or just some made up stuff on Bumble or whatever sites that you maybe Tinder or whatever. So
Yeah.
so you're
Yeah.
gonna so are you supposed to go out with oh yeah, dinner tonight, that if he did or did not make a reservation, maybe, right?
Yeah. I mean, he goes, we'll find something to do.
We'll find
So,
something to do.
yeah. So I
Wonder where
don't
that's
know.
leading.
Yeah. I mean, and then I had one, we call him Skeeter. I was on Biker, that Biker thing,
Okay.
whatever the bike. And he looked so hot. He had like long blonde hair flowing in the breeze on a bike. So and he didn't live far. He comes to my house in a broken down van.
Oh my gosh.
His arms like this size. And that's
not what you were thinking. Not like his picture at all.
And then we go to eat, and there's this girl that goes to the same place all the time. We call her Elvira, plastic surgery up. And all he did the whole time was stare at her.
Oh
and her husband's in bankruptcy from all her plastic surgeries. I was not measuring up to the plastic surgery standard. I can tell.
Gosh.
And he's like, my wife used to get drunk, pass out, take a dump, and I used to have to carry her.
What?
So, yeah. And his ship was coming in because he invented this paint that blinked. But it's probably illegal. You can't have a Harley blinking at night or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
So his ship's coming in, and when he dropped me off, we think he didn't like me because I didn't pass out, take a dump, and get drunk.
Yeah, he couldn't take advantage of you, man. Like, who tells somebody? Like, all right, he could just say, you know what, my wife used to get drunk and pass out, and I used to have to take care of her. That other part could totally be left out. Could just be like, hey, you know, I didn't.
We were
wondering.
Yeah, we were wondering. Then, one other one. My friend set me up, and he's really nice. He comes from not far, well, a few towns, a really nice town of Lake Goshen. I'm in Lake Huntington. It's not far. Comes all the way up and has a heart attack.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, actually has a heart attack right before the date. And we don't know where he is. And he had all these pills in his car because he had health issues.
Oh,
but
shit.
the cops arrested him. So he was in jail having a heart attack. His dog was in the car, and he got the charges dropped. They tried to pile on charges, but I ended up having to drive him back home.
Oh my God. Damn, girl. You ran into some shit.
I know.
What?
I know.
Like, you say you use Facebook dating now. What were you using then?
Plenty of fuck ups.
It was Plenty of Fish. Okay. All right. I just thought
Plenty of Fish.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
he
would
had
not
a
have guessed
massive
that.
heart attack on the way up and banged into the car in front of him. They thought he was on drugs. It was
Oh my God. Jeez. Like, these make for awesome stories. Like, in an amazing book. I think you could put a trilogy together for sure. There's no doubt about it. Like, you could really start it out with, you know, you sitting in your house writing with the broken pipes, getting ready to go out for a date, you know, and then how all this shit just cascades. Good Lord.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, man. I mean, there hasn't been one you were excited about. Like, ended up being,
well,
hey, that was cool.
It was a biker. He was nice, but he became insane. He started yelling at me, and he'd take me anywhere. He was AA, but I could have a drink or two. But he started getting crazy where he was yelling at me. And yeah, we weren't together, and he would start screaming and cursing at me. So no, it was good. I mean, I don't know. It was half good, half bad. There was some good there.
Yeah, sure. There was just some moments. So where did you meet your when you were in a relationship? Where'd you meet him?
Plenty of Fish.
So you did find one good one. Well, I mean, for a while. I mean, like, come on. Yeah, for a while. You were with him for a couple of years, I think you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it you know, ended, and that sucks. I mean, everything, I guess,
it's ending, yeah.
It's ending. Yes. I'm sorry. It's in the process. I'm sorry you're going through that.
Yeah. He ended up being a real yeller. And I ended up with, it's either yellers or these crazy people. So I'm approaching it with a whole different dude now.
So, all right. So I've had a couple of people say they don't trust themselves. They don't trust their taste, I guess. And they're like, I just can't pick people or something. Like, do you feel that way too?
I did, but I'm approaching it different. Like, I'm weeding them out now. Like, the guy said, oh, just come over tonight. Like, I'm going to drive to his house and stay after one date. No. So he'll be weeded out. And then somebody else will come along. He'll be weeded out. My picker is a lot better.
Yeah, sure. Now, do you do anything like phone calls before you go meet him or background checks or anything?
No, I didn't do a background check with this one, the first one.
Okay.
But he was close. So he
Yeah.
said, I know his area, not that, and he said, let's just meet. I said, LOL, that's quick, but it alleviates the painful texting.
The
It
pen pal part
alleviates,
that you talk about,
yeah.
you can't keep talking over text. It just ends up to nothing good.
No, and then they think that you're going to help them. Like one guy was, oh God, lap band shock. He wants this. Oh boy. First of all, he was a boiler, something in Jersey City engineer. My boiler. So there's a common theme. So he comes all the way up and he has a lap band because he lost weight. So he goes, I can't get on my knees and fix that. My knees hurt. So So we go to Home Depot to get the parts for it, and they're like $7. I pay. I would think maybe he would pay. I'm not looking, but you would think,
Yeah,
So
sure,
he goes,
sure.
let's go out to dinner now. It's 5:00. So I picked this really nice Italian place. We're eating, and he goes, I'm going off my diet. I don't care. And the whole time he's talking about his cunt of a wife. Really, I should have left. You don't do that. But he gets up and runs to the bathroom, comes back and goes, I just puked, because it all comes up. He goes, I just had a lap band put in. And he goes, if I didn't run to the bathroom right now, all over the floor. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for your second book. I hope there's not enough content for it. I'm not gonna lie,
too.
but oh my goodness, girl, you run into some of the shit. Oh my God. It is so consistent. I think it might be as they're getting older, they really are getting crazier. Holy
They
cow.
are.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then there's no decorum. Like I just puked all over the place. My wife takes a dump when she passes out. There's no I don't know. I'm eating. I don't want to hear that. Damn.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh, dang, girl. So tell me about your podcast.
Oh, my podcast is called Ageless, the 50+ community. And we address issues. I have a lot of holistic healers on.
Nice.
One was back pain with no MRIs, no doctors, a mind-body connection.
Oh, nice.
Another one was addressing symptoms by finding the root cause. She reads your blood. And unlike doctors, she will get to the root. And she's healed many people that way that
That's
have
awesome.
fibromania. I don't even know how to say
Fibromyalgia. Yeah.
Fibromyalgia that is not healable because she approaches it in a holistic manner.
Yeah.
Then I had somebody that escaped Iran years ago and was held prisoner, and she was in a coma. She told me it was about finding purpose, and she drops it on my podcast.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Then I had one about dating, and then he drops on me his wife is terminally ill and dying as he's dating.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's different. I mean, I guess I've heard that before because it's inevitable, but
I felt bad for him. People got mad, but as I was talking to him, I actually felt bad for the guy. I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those walk a mile in his shoes, and then see what on the outside looking in, you're like, what are you doing? Your wife's dying. You're like, how long's he been living with it? What's been going on? There can be more questions to ask as opposed to just quick judgment. I love the holistic approach. I'm a big body heals itself, not saying because we can have conversations about the medical field curing symptoms and not problems.
Exactly.
All day long.
The meds and all that crap.
Yeah.
I just had a spiritual life coach. Everyone seems to be burned out and they hate their careers at this age. And they've all reinvented themselves by doing these things. And the spiritual life coach, she helps you find your purpose, your artistic self, and she helps you develop it as to where you can make money and all this. So yeah, so they're all different.
That's awesome. So you and I talked before we started, but say the title again and what platforms people can find it on.
It's called Ageless, the 50+ community. It's not, everyone has these professional logos. I have flowers and a little picture of my face. I'm not conforming.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect.
And it's on Spotify, Apple, Buzzsprout, LinkedIn, a few others. I can't think of the names. But you have to say the
Spotify and Apple.
Yeah, the 50+ community. Then you'll find it.
Is plus Ageless spelled out, or is it the plus sign?
No, it's the little plus sign. Ageless, okay, cool. The 50+.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure they can find it. Unless, like, any other stories you could think of before I let you go, because I don't want, you have some amazing ones.
Yeah, I know. Let me see. Let me just get. Oh my God.
She's like, I didn't want to look like, God, why did I write this down? I got to go back and relive it now. Jesus.
Yeah, I forgot about the guy that showed up. He was from. See, I was getting all these coincidences because I thought it meant something. He was near where my daughter's first boyfriend lived, so I was like, oh, I know. And then he doesn't look like his photo. He didn't mind driving too far. I hear women too. And he drove to a Mexican restaurant, and he starts saying all these things about surveillance cameras he had in his house. And I'm like, what is this guy, Scarface? And, and he tells me about the girls he's fucked when he goes to Florida and how he picked up a hitchhiker. And when he brought her to his house and she pulled down her pants, he saw a device embedded in her ass. And, yeah.
I had to order the book.
Yeah. And he asked her what it was for, and she told him it was for her to monitor her food intake. And something really weird. And all he did was talk about surveillance cameras. And then, it was an odd date.
Yeah. I would say that's all about voyeurism right there. It's all about wanting to watch. That would be my guess. That would be like, surveillance cameras. Oh, I get it, buddy. You want to watch. That would be my guess. Or he could be tinfoil hat guy. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. And he was sending me pics of his young girlfriends in Florida all the time. I don't know why he wanted me to come down and join them.
Yeah, he's hoping for that miraculous threesome. I guess all he needed to do was pick up a hitchhiker, and maybe that would have happened for him. Who knows?
But she had something embedded in her ass, though.
Yeah, that's always a big turnoff. Maybe he could have told her about this one time somebody defecated in a place they weren't supposed to. I don't know. People are crazy. They are just absolutely nuts. That's what makes me laugh the most. FTM. Oh, girl, I thank you so much for taking the time and coming on. You've been so great to talk to.
You're welcome.
You are awesome. Thank you for being along for the ride on the Swipe Wrong podcast. The show is produced by Jay Pelham. You want to reach out to us? We want to hear your story. 317-426-6616. Make sure to text, leave a voicemail. We'll get back to you. Shoot us an email at swipewrongpod@gmail.com. We are on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, YouTube. We are definitely out there. I am the host of the show. My name is Chaos. And please make sure to take a listen to us next week because the saga, it continues.